Hello, album enjoyers. Thank you so much for listening. We're here very quickly to plug the Enjoy an Album Patreon. First off, thank you so much for everyone who has already signed up.
Overwhelming.
Yes, thank you. We're really, really pleased. It means that we can continue to improve the podcast in ways that we had only imagined as a possibility. We're way ahead of schedule on that, so thank you. For £5 a month, you get 2 extra episodes a month, sometimes 3 if the weeks land in the right way. You get an extra episode every 2 weeks.
I didn't know that, but that's cool.
Yes, you also...
24-hour at least early access to every episode.
Yes.
Without adverts, without Patreon plugs. It's fucking class. That's what I listen to. Not only that, you get 2 bonus episodes every fucking month.
And
we try harder on those ones, if I'm honest.
We've got some live shows coming up as well, and you will get early access.
I haven't heard
We'll
about
get pre-sale to those. So lots of exciting reasons to sign up. Or you get access to the ones that we've already done. We've done The Darkness. We've done
Robbie Williams.
Yes.
Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Mogwai.
Yes, The Flaming Lips.
The Flaming Lips.
Yeah, loads of good ones already there. Your classic album episodes hidden behind a secret door that only your Patreon membership can access.
And you can actually vote on what Patreon ones we're going to do coming up soon.
So the patrons have signed up.
And you can ask questions that we'll answer in the intro.
And you can discuss stuff with the larger Enjoy an Album community. So do get signed up.
What a great community is.
Yes, it's £5 a month or £10 a month if you're extra sound. So we'll leave you to do that at patreon.com/enjoy an album. And we hope you enjoy the episode. Until then, thank you so much.
Become an ultra, please.
We've been doing questions.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not going to do a question this week because there's something else that I want to do.
Right.
It was recently your 30th birthday
Just
party.
turned 30.
You had a big birthday party. You invited everybody except for me.
I didn't have a birthday party.
Whatever. Oh, apparently.
I didn't.
Oh, sure.
Stu had his birthday party.
Still saying. Oh, I didn't get invited to that either. So very interesting.
Why didn't you? Yeah.
I
didn't have a birthday party.
I was in Manchester. However, I bought you a gift. Now, so I've bought you gifts on the podcast before, and I have one, let's be honest, a bit sarcastic.
Mm-hmm.
This is sincere.
Okay, so you're having a go at it.
I'm hoping you like this.
It's not the 700-word book. What's that book?
That was sincere.
Oh,
A
was
Little
it?
Life. And
Right.
Honestly, I think
Don't
you
drop
should read
the
it.
present.
I think you should read it.
All right, I'll try.
Do you know what? Actually, remembering how badly you responded to being given a gift before, and that you brought it up as like a terrible thing I did twice, I'm now thinking I don't want to give you this.
Whatever you want, man. I'm a bad gift getter. I'll say that.
A bad gift.
Thank you so much for giving me a gift. It's so thoughtful. When's your birthday?
The 9th of June.
Okay.
I'm going to be 34.
Oh.
So this is wrapped lovingly by my partner, who's a good rapper. We're going to do some ASMR. That's quite annoying, actually.
Yeah.
So
Sounds like rain.
I have heard, Chris, that you've been getting into country music. And also...
Is a hat? How'd you get a cowboy hat?
I don't want to... Not to reveal too much, but I follow you on Instagram. And I know you've got a particular favourite motif of your Instagram
Can I guess what it is?
No, don't guess what it is. Just open it. What we have here is a T-shirt. And look who it is. It's Chris's favourite little guy, Kermit the Frog, in a cowboy hat. How cool is that?
Can I tell you something?
Yes?
I nearly bought this.
Really?
Yeah.
What a good present that you nearly bought.
I couldn't figure out how to buy it. I love it.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
I hope it fits. I looked at it and I thought it's too small. There you go. Chris is now hugging me on pod, which has never happened before. I was worried it was too small, but then I remembered you were quite a small guy.
What size is it?
Small.
Yeah, that's my size. Thanks.
I hope you enjoy it. A happy 30th from me.
You might be wondering why Liam has eyeliner. Is that just something he does for my birthday? No.
Yeah, audio listeners, I put on eyeliner every year for Chris's 30th birthday, which happens every year. He's a Benjamin Button-ass bitch.
Don't fucking say that to me. I do have a genetic condition where I'm aging in the face. What is it's like Hezbollah but different.
Yeah.
That's what they call me.
Hezbollah but built different.
Thank you for coming on to see Marc
I guess
Jennings
he doesn't
talk
age, but I'm
about-
just built different, I guess.
Thank you for coming on to see Marc Jennings, come on to talk about. He's wearing eyeliner because we just done a Patreon thing and he can't be asked washing it off.
We just recorded a My Chemical Romance episode of the Patreon, so just a little clue. You might want to get onto that.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Marc Jennings for coming on and doing the podcast. You might know him from some laugh. You might know him from the Party On film that me and him and Nick Halfchain made with Bruce Morton and Stephen Buchanan and various other people, maybe Roscoe McClelland, in 2007. Probably not. I don't think many people watched that, and it's bad.
Also, hey, what are you doing during the month of August?
Go see Marc Jennings.
Have you thought about going to see my friend's show or Christopher's friend's show? Both annoyingly at the same time, but in different rooms, but both under the great Monkey Barrel umbrella.
How did this happen?
I know, what a fuck up. But it doesn't matter. Listen, buy tickets. They're on sale now from the Ed Fringe website. You know my name is Liam With Now. You know his is Christopher MacArthur Boyd. We're both doing shows. We're both award-winning and critically acclaimed. Thank you very much. It's a guaranteed hour of laughs.
What award did you win?
Do you want to reel off my awards? Okay, sure. I won Outstanding Show at the 2019 Edinburgh Festival.
Wow.
I won Best Compare at the Scottish Comedy Awards.
Sick.
Was nominated in the next 2 years. Didn't win to other people. Doesn't matter.
It's all politics.
It's all just politics. It's all just to do with who is the best. It's weird. Yeah, there's like a bias to the people who is the best, and that's who they give the award to. It's rigged.
Award shows are so bad.
It's rigged.
In favour of quality.
Yeah, it's a fucking joke, really. It's a big scam. So, what have you won?
Was it?
Was it?
Thank you for if you're watching this for the first time. Thanks for giving it a chance.
If you're wasingness for the first time, thanks for giving it a wazzy chance.
We really had a good time recording this episode with Marc Jennings.
Yes.
Sorry for punching the microphone as I said his name. Thank you for giving us a chance. Check out it.
Check out it. Check out it. We've been recording for 4 hours. Can you tell?
I'm sleepy.
Have a wonderful day and enjoy the episode.
Enjoy.
This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the numero uno product when it comes to shaving your bits.
It's not the product, it's the brand.
Oh,
it's not just the product, baby.
Yeah.
We got the nose trimmer, the
Weed whacker.
weed whacker. You got the comfiest pair of pants I own.
The lawn mower. Fellas, if you are tired of having little shaving mishaps when you're trying to tidy up your downstairs department, then 100% recommend the lawn mower. It's so quick, it's so easy, it's waterproof. You can charge it in with a USB-C, the same as my phone.
If you're fed up your ball bag looking like Colonel Gaddafi's burst head, how about you get on the old Manscaper and your head... Manscaped. And
5 months.
Your ball bag will look like Professor Xavier's bald head. Perfectly smooth. No burst bones or blood stains. Just good old-fashioned sleek balls.
And because surely such wonderful equipment would be expensive, would it not?
That's the issue. That is taken care of, because if you're a fan of this podcast, you get Album 20 is the product code that allows you to get 20% off.
20% off all products.
That's a fifth.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So make sure, and also it's a way to support the pod whilst also supporting your own balls. If you don't have balls, that's fine. Maybe want purchase them for a fun gift. Father's Day's coming up.
They work on all genders.
Yes, you can shave anything with it.
They
cat
should be called humans.
A dog. A hedgehog. Don't shave hedgehogs with Manscaped.
Please do not do that because it is cruel and unusual.
Yes, but remember to use the code ALBUM20 for your Manscaped products. And well, thank you so much for listening to this sponsored part of the show. You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where two comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time. On the follow-up to the Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem set out to broaden his already wide artistic horizons. He made his most overt nods yet to rock music, borrowing Aerosmith's Dream On for the basis of Sing for the Moment, and gets explicitly political about his job on White America. At the same time, he takes himself no more seriously than usual, mocking any hint of grandiosity on My Dad's Gone Crazy, which invites his beloved daughter Haley to take funny shots at the old man. Superman pulls a similar trick, not only with the rapper's image, but the macho pose intrinsic to commercial hip hop.
Oh, stunning Blur Breed.
I mean, look, Apple Music is
They never miss.
Rolling Stone is in the mud.
Rolling Stone is in the mud.
Getting the burps in nice and early this
Getting
week.
right in soon.
Before we've even introduced this week's guest,
Shotgun these two drinks.
we have in the studio from Eminem to M&J, it's Jenko Unchained, Marc Jennings,
Unchained, Sharko Marco.
the absolute boy, host of the Some Laugh podcast, an absolute legend.
Recently played the King's Theatre era
The
with you.
sold out King's Theatre in Glasgow, and I was lucky enough to be invited along to open for Mark. What a fantastic night and opportunity.
Long time album enjoyer also.
Yes, big fan. I would say this is my favourite podcast.
Wow.
I really look forward to it.
And me and you share a lot of similar. We listen to the same podcast.
Yeah, so the other podcasts that we listen to, the political ones, like that, I look forward to this just as much as any of the.
You don't think this is political, this podcast?
Well, you know,
We talk about 9/11 every week.
Yeah, I know it is a 9/11 podcast, and I do actually have something about that.
It's
But
nice to be regarded alongside Noam Saying by Noam Chomsky's podcast.
that would be a great name for it. But no, I would say like, this is probably my favourite podcast, and you have now introduced me to my favourite band, The Ratings, as well. So
Yes, you can hear our Ratons review over on Patreon. Ultras only. We've not put it to public because we don't want the Ratons to fight us.
Yeah, I'm going to Sheffield soon. I don't want my head kicked in.
Do you know the thing about them is and it's actually similar to Eminem, and it probably leads into it, is because like actually I think, right, I'm a fucking basic bitch when it comes to indie music, right? But I actually thought some of their tunes sound alright, but it's just the overt misogyny and stuff that's the problem. Which leads us on nicely, I suppose, to Marshall Mathers.
Yes, to Eminem. Were you a big? I mean, you've chosen Sam. So hang on, let's get this right because we've had some mix-ups with guests in the last few weeks. So is this one of your favourite albums?
I would say certainly. I think it's one of the best hip hop albums.
Right.
I'm a big hip hop head. I did originally want to come on and do Tupac, All Eyes on Me, but that was before you've done that obviously already. Before you decided to do the videos,
For the rebrand.
or have guests or listeners, and
Whoa!
We had 120 people who were quite into it. Come on.
so you just spunked that. So
Wowee.
given the fact we can't do, you've done that pack one. I thought Eminem Show. Very excited about it. I think it's the best Eminem album. A lot of people seem to think it's one of the first two, but I think that's a bit of like, you know, people always love to say that the first albums of an artist are the best ones, but I think objectively Eminem Show is like peak Eminem.
So the first two is the Marshall Mathers LP and the Slim Shady LP.
Other way around, but yes.
Yeah, okay.
Which are great, right? And there's some of his best songs on those first two ones, but I think in terms of he produces a lot of the Eminem Show, and it's his kind of sound, and I think just a lot of the stuff he does in the first two, he does the same things. Like he's got the kind of funny records, and he's got the introspective ones, and
He's
the
like
kind of
fine-tuned what he's trying to do by the time his third record and then executes it perfectly.
exactly.
Well, I think the Slim Shady LP is his, you know, Slim Shady character, this kind of horror-core guy.
Yeah.
And then he was doing, this is the Marshall Mathers LP. This is the real me. And in
Yeah.
this one, he's going, you know, I'm actually fed up. You don't get to see the real me. You get to see me. You get to kind of deconstruct what this is, but I'm still Eminem.
Aye, well, that's the whole thing. He's kind of said he's like, just he felt like his life was becoming like a fucking circus and a show, and that's the whole idea. It's like, I'm just going to let you behind the curtain.
And there you go, a lovely curtain.
Aye. Which I suppose we'll get to.
So, were you a big fan of this when it came out?
I think like it's hard because I was like obviously quite young when like he first came out, but my kind of first memories of him was like I was in my cousin's house, and I remember that's the first time I heard about Eminem. It was like MTV was always on. My big cousin's like a year older, and like I just remember it was like it must have been My Name Is came out, and then obviously Real Slim Shady, all that kind of time. And I just remember like MTV being on it in his house at the time, and that's when it first, and it felt like this exciting new, oh my god, this guy saying all this crazy stuff.
Who's
and
this guy?
it was kind of tied up at the same time, like that sort of time, like music videos were so big there, which I suppose we'll maybe go on and talk about, but even like it was about South Park and like all this kind of stuff. It was like all the same time Jackass, MTV, all that stuff was
The
quite big.
WWF Attitude Era.
Aye, so all that time it just felt like, and like even with Stone Cold's big thing was like fuck you, like to the boss and all that, and kind of Eminem was like the rap version of that, wasn't it?
Especially because, I mean, so you would have been what, like 10 or 11 when...
So when this came out, I had been like 11.
Yeah, I remember when a Real Slim Shady single dropped. I remember being in the playground at school and people singing it, and people were like, what the hell is this? And I was trying to
What
find...
did that sound like? Some Dagenham children singing.
What? My name is... a dicka Slim Shady. Slim Shady, you fucking slag. And I remember
Fuck
there was
you, Kim.
There was I can't remember which.
You fucking idiot. Mother of my child, have a fucking laugh, you cream puff.
Cream puff.
I don't know what that means.
I don't think we'd have said cream puff.
I don't know what you could say.
I remember in one of the videos there was I can't remember which video it is. I'm sure someone in the comments will tell me. There's a point where like a lady comes out of a bathroom and she's like wiping her lips or maybe no it's Eminem is like maybe he's being the president and someone it turns out is underneath his lectern.
Aye.
Sucking his dick.
Got
and then she comes out and like rubs the side of her lip. And I remember being 11 years old being like, oh my God, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Being like, this is outrageous.
I remember a lot of references to blowjob stuff back then where I was like, wait, what's happening?
But that was actually a reference, obviously, to Clinton and Lewinsky and stuff, and that's what we would do in all the, particularly the kind of jokey singles they'd always bring out. Like, there'd always be all these references to what was ever going on in the culture.
Yeah, but as an 11-year-old, I didn't know much about the Clinton-Lewinsky saga. as politically tuned as I was more focused on...
with a cigar?
She's got it all over, it's all over her fucking dress!
Stuck it up a bumhole and smoked it.
It's because this is also American Pie time.
Yeah.
And I remember people talking about that at school. So I shoved a flute up my pussy and stuff. And it was just like, I think perfect timing for people our age of like, hey, I'm not a little kid anymore, all right? I'm growing up. I'm learning about sex and stuff. And guess what? It's funny. And then that was like one of the reasons why I think this was like resonated so big with like, you know, young teens.
Absolutely. I think the other thing that really resonated, I think I can really relate to Eminem because, like, you know, he obviously talks about living in a trailer with his family, and, you know, I went on a lot of caravan holidays. So it's in some place.
I was in Wales Bay for a fortnight, Marshall, and it's not easy.
Fuck you, Mum.
Fuck you, Mum. I wanted to go to Irvine.
So I had this CD, and I remember, speaking of caravan holidays, doing a 2-week holiday in the west coast of Ireland, where I took my Walkman and I just had this CD. That was the only CD that I had. I forgot to bring my CD wallet. I just had the CD that was in the Walkman that was this. So I listened to this. Well, I remember it would have been the summer it came out for 2 weeks non-stop whilst walking up and down the green fields of Ballinrobe in Mayo.
Wow,
very
County
fitting.
Mayo.
Very fitting.
Yeah. My first Eminem experience was also in my cousin's.
Aye.
You know, it was a cousin guy.
It was a cousin
Somebody
guy.
a cousin knows.
And it's like, especially if you had a bigger cousin, because my cousin, I'm sure at one point dyed his hair blonde and had an earring, probably just because of Eminem.
Yes.
Oh,
my
that
dad
was
done
a
that.
thing, wasn't it? And people used to go like fancy dress for school. Would you call it fancy dress?
Aye.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. It just as soon as I said it, I realised it sounds very English.
Yeah.
We call it guys and son.
Yeah. I was expecting some of that bullshit. But you'd get like kids, like 12-year-old kids in like dungarees and a hockey mask and like a fake chainsaw.
That was the first time I seen him, was on my cousin's bedroom wall poster for Kerrang. And he was just, they had the bleached blonde, Slim Shady hair, dungarees, chainsaw, hockey mask. And I thought he was like a new serial killer. I thought he was like the new Freddy or Jason or something. I was like, what film's that?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, it's a singer. I was like, what?
What's this serial killer doing at the MTV Awards?
Well, you know, Barack Obama, but going forwards.
It's a political podcast, okay?
Noam Sale with Noam Chomsky. Is it time for a secret pod show?
Yeah, let's do it. I think we've...
This would be quite the exclusive, by the way. If we unearth.
Eminem went to Eton.
Eating that pussy, man. Fucking... Secret pod show, secret pod show. You do it faster than it feels like Nacho got no money. You got Dashbo secret pod show.
It's fairly well documented that Eminem grew up in poverty. He was born in St. Joseph, Missouri. His dad, Marshall, and Debbie were in a band called Daddy Warbucks.
His dad was called Marshall and Debbie.
Yeah. Yeah, no
Marshall
wonder he's
and
such
Debbie.
a fuck up.
Yeah.
His dad's called Marshall and Debbie. His dad. Normally it's Chris calling me out and stuff like that, okay? Not the guest. We've invited someone in who's going to fucking trip me up,
I
okay?
just don't know when you're going to let it read, man.
His dad is called Marshall. His mum, Debbie. They're in a band called Daddy Warbucks. Now you can find Daddy Warbucks on YouTube, right? To find some of their like songs, and so I listened to a few of them, and it's like this sort of psychedelic kind of stuff. But then all the comments are like, "This is not Daddy Warbucks. This is a different band," and it was like a scam that record companies used to do. They used to like just fill a CD with like loads of music that they'd stolen, and then just fucking release it to be sold cheaper, like gas stations or whatever. It's a way of like funneling money through. So I couldn't find any actual footage or audio of Daddy Warbucks playing. But there are bands under their name on YouTube.
You could imagine that a lot of their songs were basically her doing diss tracks about her own son.
I'm glad you died.
Daddy Warbucks.
I hate that Ronnie died. I thought it would be better if it was you.
Daddy Warbucks is named after a character in the Dick Tracy cartoons. That's quite a cool name.
Can I Dick Tracy jacket today? Emphasis on the dick. Because he wears yellow. It's a nice jacket. Nice.
I feel like I'm under attack here
No,
from
you're
both
under
of you.
attack. You're just a good guy. We like it.
His dad left after a year, and then this obviously instigated a lifelong sort of not obsession, but Eminem spends much of his career sort of calling out his mum and dad in different songs. His dad for leaving after a year. They lived in poverty. He lived in a trailer. He went to Lincoln High School. So we always sort of look at the high school of the artist, and it's normally like, at least there's like alumni, and there's normally a few people. Most of them are like American football players. That's the least it is. This is the smallest amount of information I've ever seen about a high school on Wikipedia. It is like literally like Lincoln High School is a high school. That is the whole page. There's no other information about it. That's how small and shitty this place is.
This article is a stub. You can help by expanding.
Yeah.
He actually used to have to go and do rap battles at another high school, at a different one, because he would sneak into the other high school and do rap battles, I think, after he'd dropped out of high school, apparently. Because it wasn't even good for doing fucking rap battles.
How was the rap battle program at your school? We're thinking of son applying here. He got a job in Little Caesars Pizza.
Aye.
Pizza.
Which is
That's where
referenced in 8 Mile. They say he gets sacked for little, but basically it's just 8 Mile's just his fucking life, basically.
8 Mile. What a film.
Great documentary.
I have not watched it in a long time. I think I've spoken about it before when I went to watch it. Me and my friend, also called Liam, who we went to see Jackie Chan's The Tuxedo
Loose smoking.
as a scam. We weren't really going to see Jackie Chan's The Tuxedo, but we realised it was 15 minutes before Eminem's 8 Mile, but it was a 15 and we were not 15. So we snuck out of Jackie Chan's The Tuxedo to then go and see 8 Mile. And I remember there's a sex scene in it.
Yeah.
And me.
In the Ford factory.
Yes.
With, what's her face? Bridget.
Yes.
It's not her name, but she has
What's her
dead
name?
now. Fuck, I watched it last night, I can't remember.
I was going to say Leslie Nielsen. It's definitely not.
And I remember seeing the sex scene and being like, oh my God, I should not be in this cinema. This is too adult for me.
To me, that's kind of like, because in the Titanic, they have a sex scene that's in a car. And this is like even more based than that. This is like where they make cars.
Neil has got the actress's name.
What's her name?
It's no fucking her.
No, Brittany Murphy. Yeah,
Brittany Murphy.
Who do you think? He was talking about The Rock. That's not her.
Apparently they dated for a while as well in real life. Her and Eminem.
No wonder when you're shagging in her.
Well, Eminem, I mean, here's the thing. Like, because there's also, he supposedly dated Mariah Carey.
Yeah, did I?
But she denies it.
You would.
No, because see on the tour for this album, he would play voicemails from her when she denied it, like prove to the audience.
Yeah. But she still to this day denies that it ever happened. But he still says it did happen. But I think that's interesting that she would go, no, I don't want people to know that. Like, he was a big star. Why wouldn't you?
All I Want for Christmas Is You is about Eminem.
The black community's relationship to interracial sex is very complicated.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
But
so it's bad for there's a lot of films where black act. What?
no, I'm just interested to what you mean by this.
Do you know? Obviously, there's the white
You'd
race.
have known this if you were going to see Jackie Chan's The Tuxedo. That's what no film's about. Chris Tucker. That's just the B plot is of him.
That's Rush Hour. Shut up. Anyway, so like it's bad for a black star to be seen dating a white person.
Right, who's the black star?
Mariah Carey.
But she's white.
What? Is she?
Neil. I want to say maybe.
Fuck's sake, Neil. I had my back, man. Mariah, she's black. I mean, I'm not going to say what she is or what she isn't, but come on.
What do you mean? There's a white woman. There's a white woman. What the fuck do you
She's
mean?
got a lot of makeup on.
What the fuck do you reckon it was?
What? I thought Mariah Carey was black. What?
What the fuck?
Oh. So she's marrying Nick Cannon?
Yeah.
But she's not saying
Yeah,
she
black.
dated.
Nick
Let's
Cannon
just
is
gloss
black.
over what we've all spoke about, right? I'm so sure Mariah Carey was black. All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's the...
Early life. How early are we going here? Oh! She is the youngest of 3 children born to Patricia, a former opera singer and vocal coach of Irish descent,
Right.
and Alfred Roy Carey, an aeronautical engineer of African American and black Venezuelan American lineage.
Oh,
Yes!
she's mixed race.
She is mixed race.
Right,
So we're
okay.
both right.
Yeah. I mean, I would have said that. Just that was what I would have assumed that she was, but.
Well, oh, okay, Mark. You've turned up and you know everything, apparently. I see.
Just saying,
Yeah.
you know, well, I've just.
You weren't saying what race she was when we were discussing what race she was.
I was not confident in that as you were.
I'm extremely confident and turns out correct. Ergo, let's do another segment.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you spent too much time on this thing that might not have even actually happened between him and Eminem.
You said that it was voicemails.
Yes, he did play the voicemails. He did.
Doesn't even shag them.
In my experience, nobody leaves me voicemails that isn't shagging me.
Kim,
No one has ever left me a voicemail.
my dad is the only person who leaves me voicemails now, and he's,
Well, listen, the English-Irish diaspora have a very...
Complicated racist relationship. love you, Dad.
his long-term partner, or on and off, Kim, moved into his house aged 15 with her twin. They were like runaways, and then his mum took them in, and obviously him and Kim then obviously hooked up and got together, and they had a baby.
It's weird, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, imagine you're 15 years old, right? And a young girl around your age moves into your house, and you are like, you know,
That happened, but it was Chris's girlfriend.
but like, you know how the big thing on Pornhub is like stepsisters and that. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
this is kind of, I guess that's kind of what it is. It's like, this is like not my sister, but my sister. Someone.
So
who
you
I-
try to make this seem normal, or you try to make this seem
No, I'm not trying to seem normal. I'm saying I can empathise.
because you watch stepsister porn?
Stepsister stuck in a washing machine
Yeah.
porn. Yeah. No,
Oh,
I just think
living
that it's
Yeah.
not. It probably
Dream
is,
on.
it's probably not as uncommon as we think. You know,
certainly not in the trailer part. In the
unusual
environment
rather
we grew
than
up.
uncommon.
Yeah.
It probably is uncommon. I don't know anyone who's taken in a 15-year-old twin runaways and then fucked them.
It's really uncommon. It's not uncommon for. I mean, it's just what is your worldview based around the videos you watch on X Hamster?
Yeah. Who uses X Hamster in 2023? Come on.
Still banging, man. Still banging. Good amateur stuff.
And then she gave birth to a daughter, Hayley Jade, who I have not looked into Hayley Jade at all since, you know, obviously on this album there is Hayley's song where Eminem sings to his daughter, and there's throughout his career lots of references to her upbringing and everything. But then I Googled Hayley, who is now an influencer
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Nepo baby.
3 million followers, including Marc Jennings.
Alright.
You follow Hailey Jade on Instagram, bro?
Listen, I just thought our feature on this album was so good that I want to see what that artist does next.
What does she do? What's
Yeah,
her clip? What's her stuff like?
She doesn't really post. She just posts like pictures of herself.
It's
you know?
just general influencer crap, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm wearing. That's it.
She was recently
is what
at the
we're-
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction that Eminem done at the end of last year, and she's sitting behind him. And then at one point, when he was saying stuff about taking drugs, he said, "Close your ears," and the camera went to her, and she just sat there. And then he said it, and he's like, "Right, you can open your ears again," and she was still just sitting there.
Maybe she's like a seal where she can seal and she can close and open her ears independently, like the way a chameleon's eyes work.
Imagine pretending to Eminem's daughter that she doesn't know about drugs. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you heard anything your dad has done in the last 20 years? Come on.
Yeah, 100%. That's sick. I knew she was famous for some reason, but I just kind of, yeah.
the first rap song Eminem heard was "Reckless" by Ice-T, which I listened to. It was absolutely fucking
Was it
banging. I'm not going to do it.
Why? Is there a lot of N-words in it?
Well, I can't remember it.
Oh.
That's not the only reason I wouldn't do something.
Should be.
It's one of many reasons.
Okay.
Is that I don't know the rap off by heart, okay? But it's long. It's like an 8-minute long. And it's got a big electronic sort of like the first 2 minutes or so is like lyricless. It's
It
fucking
was
cool.
Ice-T when he left NWA to work with the East Coast Bomb Squad producers, I think. So that's why it would sound really kind of futuristic and militant, because he was working with an East Coast production style.
It's really cool. He listened to that and was like, what the fuck is this? He wanted to be a comic book artist. And
Just
then-
like Gerard Way.
Yes. And then basically decided to get into rap and then started going to this other school to do rap battles. And then this, eventually got picked up by Jimmy Iovine.
Jimmy Levine, as you called him in the previous episode.
I don't know what you
Made him
mean.
sound like a fucking Scottish football manager.
I don't know what you
Jimmy Levine, current
Jimmy,
assistant coach for Hearts.
Jimmy Iovine, I think his name is actually, guys.
Well, the decisions went against us today, but...
Yeah, Jimmy Levine was.
Don't make football jokes, Chris. You shouldn't talk about things that
It's
you don't
pretty
know
good
about.
to make two football guys laugh. You know, I'm a chameleon.
Just
I'm
don't
like,
talk about things that you don't know.
To be fair, Eminem would have loved football because his dad never told him he loved him either.
my dad never told me that he loved me.
He's the ultimate Specky Gimp, isn't he, Eminem?
Yeah.
He does sometimes wear glasses. So.
Well, I've got a new bit about being Specky.
All right.
What
Can
I
we talk
say.
about Eminem? Because
Oh, okay.
sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I've got a lot to
I feel
get
like
through.
the guests are getting a bit too fucking big for their boots in this program. That's the last few episodes they've tried to get us back on track. I'm like, excuse me, do you know what this podcast actually is? Do you think we're here to talk about Eminem? Grow up.
Yeah.
Hot takes.
Yeah.
When do you think Eminem got shite, Mark? If he has.
No, he has. Basically, after this album, Encore. Actually, in retrospect, Encore.
That's really interesting.
Isn't that? Is a lot better than some of the other shit he's put out. But to be fair, I mean, he kind of fucked up his life after this, really.
By not doing drugs
He was
anymore?
fucked up on drugs for Encore, which was the one after this, which is in a similar vein to Eminem Show, but it's just basically the songs aren't as good.
But Recovery was the
Recovery
biggest,
was-
the biggest selling album of the 2010s or something.
Yeah,
crazy like that.
Recovery was good, but he's changed his style. He had that couple of years and nearly fucking died in 2007 or stuff, and then he came back. He done Relapse before Recovery, and he had a weird accent
It's
for the whole
weird
thing.
way to do that. Order.
Such a strange decision to do that just the whole time, like just doing a weird accent. Although some of the songs on that are good. Recovery is decent. Actually, that's when I seen Eminem live when he done Tea in the Park the year that Recovery came out. And
What was that like?
well, the funny thing I always remember, it was fucking about 2 hours late. Coming in, everyone's like, you know, and apparently the reason was because it had rained and he didn't want to walk over some mud and get his fucking white trainers wet, right? But he
Get this boy some wellies now!
comes out eventually, Tea in the Park, and I always remember it was funny because he comes out and the first thing he says is, "Hello, Edinburgh!" And then this guy next to me goes like, "This is Glasgow, mate!" And I'm like, we are standing in a field in Perth right now, in fucking Balado. And what that guy for Glasgow's done, he's done the exact same thing as Eminem, where both of them have travelled from a place and think they're still in the place that they've travelled from.
Doesn't that just say everything you need to know about the central belt in this country? That both places think that they are the centre of the fucking universe. Meanwhile, there's people from Perth there going, it's actually fucking Perth. And this is my farm.
Yeah.
It was funny, but it was brilliant. And I would say this about Eminem is that it's hard. Rap live generally is quite shite, but he's brilliant live.
Good showman.
He's really, it was a good showman, and he's such a good rapper. And like, obviously, probably going back to doing all the freestyles and stuff, but live he is brilliant. And they do have hype men and stuff that kind of, because it's so impossible to do all this stuff, you know, like at the pace he does. But no, it was brilliant. I loved it. One of the best live music experiences I've ever had.
And so freestyling is kind of how he started, really, isn't it? It's just he got really proficient at freestyling as a white guy in a predominantly black neighborhood, and that's how he first got noticed, was by working really hard to become an incredible freestyler.
And battle raps, I guess, yeah, he'll just like 8 Mile again. And then he went to the Rap Olympics in '97, which is how he ended up getting discovered, basically, because he got I think he lost the final of that, and then somebody had the Slim Shady EP out at the time, and he gave somebody that record to, then gave it to Jimmy Levine. And then that's how Drake and then
Jimmy
Jay heard
Iovine
it.
said that he never found anybody from a demo tape apart from Eminem, where he heard it and straight away he was like, "Find me this guy, we need to sign him." And he got a lot of pushback immediately because it was a white rapper.
I will Drake. It was Drake. And then he just said,
Have you seen the Defiant ones on Netflix?
"No, because it's not on there anymore." I was trying to watch it this
Really?
week and they've taken it off, and you can't find it anywhere. It's annoying.
Oh, really?
What's the Defiant ones?
It's a series about Jimmy Levine and
Drake.
and Dre. I mean, the thing is, it is a series. It's supposed to be about sort of their journey into hip hop and all the influential decisions they made. But essentially,
It's a sponsored ad for Beats.
it's an advert for Beats. But literally, the last episode is just about Beats headphones, and you're like, "Oh, that was all this is about. Is for them to sell more fucking Beats."
It's like that new Air Jordan documentary, just a whole thing about a fucking product, basically.
Yeah, it's really cynical, but there is a couple of interesting stuff on it, and it's interesting getting to see Jimmy Levine behind
Jimmy Levine.
behind the football. And you mentioned as well, obviously, I mean, Eminem nearly died. I wasn't aware of this.
Nor was I until I looked it up.
So he got sober, and then I think he went to hospital for something else, and then basically via the medicine from that became rehooked on drugs. Is that what happened?
I don't know. At some point, he get rehooked on. He was taking loads of Viking. No, apparently the reason he got hooked on drugs the first time was while he was filming 8 Mile. He was up so late. He was taking sleep medication, and then he got addicted to it. The time he died, he'd taken like an overdose of Vicodin or something like that, and then
That's it. Someone had given him some methadone, I think,
right.
and
was it equivalent to like 4 things? of
yeah,
heroin or
he was
something?
he was told by his dealer, "Oh, I have no Vicodin, but I have this other stuff which is pretty good. It's exactly the same." And yeah, the doctor said they found it he was basically hours away from death. Yeah, he was found in his bathroom like unconscious and had like 4 grams of heroin or something.
That could have been him right there.
So
Do you think that would be better for his legacy if he died at that point?
no, because actually Recovery I think was a triumph for him in terms of coming back, and it was a good album and it done well. Again, though, I mean, if you listen to some of the fucking like some of the songs, like I used to love that one, "Cold Wind Blows." There's a few that start like a proper banger, but then like you listen to what he's actually saying in it, and you're like, "Fucking hell!" Like this is. I mean, there's just no need for the things he says about women and all these things.
Yeah.
Which
Right.
is true of like his whole fucking discography. But to get back to answering your question about when he got shite, like I actually think Steve had stopped at Recovery. Great. See all the other stuff he's done since it's shite. And I think the problem is now is that what he does is like that fucking Chris D'Elia video where he just napkins and that like
I'm doing abortions, napkins and napkins.
he just tries to write because he's such a good rhymer and he writes like fuck, and so he like tries to rhyme every fucking syllable, which is impressive. It's just not enjoyable to listen to.
Yeah.
And then
it's like somebody doing a guitar solo with like
and then he
and you're like, that's
that
cool, but
album
it's
he
not
had,
good.
that one he had called Revival, right? There's just loads of like there's one and it's like I love rock and roll is the sample, and he's like, and I remember reading a review of it and it said it's risable, and it is. It's just like dead. It's just so corny and just not enjoyable listening. It's so hard when you listen to like EMINEM Show, like, and you go, how do you know? Can you know just do that?
Yeah.
Or can I? Something of that quality, but he's changed the style so much. It's just hard. But in a way, I think that's a lot with artists. Sometimes
You need
like,
to be shite.
he gave us the 3 first albums, right? Amazing, all time greats. And see after that, like maybe you've just given the world what you needed to give them in 8 Mile, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? And so for me, I kind of think, well, like maybe you should just like he's still doing his thing because what else is he going to fucking do with his time? But it's like nobody needs it anymore. You know, which is going back to I actually sent you this meme because it's now obviously says and this is like he's like Moby nobody listens to techno thing, and then it's like there's a meme and it's like and now like everybody listens to techno and no one listens to Eminem. You know, but that's name's
Calls him a 36-year-old bald-headed something. Tell you that much. It's pretty funny.
Nobody listen to techno.
Ain't nobody listen to techno. I remember the moment I realised that Eminem was shite now was when I heard the song Venom. From the Venom soundtrack, where it's like Venom, Venom, gotta get him, Venom, Venom.
Venom got to get him.
Like something like that, yeah. Venom, Venom, something like that. And it's
like
just so shit.
So many of his lines now are the sort of thing that like if you heard a one-liner comedian say it, like the wordplay, you'd just be like, oh, at the back of it, like so many of them, and the new stuff are like that.
Venom, Venom, gotta get him. So it's like
I've got a good example of how hard it is to write good rap, and that is Eminem was sued after releasing the song "Brain Damage." He was So he sort of talks about being bullied in school.
Yeah.
And he references a specific school bully. And the bully tried to sue Eminem, saying, "Oh, you've been saying these disparaging remarks." I never bullied him. I just pushed him once or twice. This was his he took this to a court to try and get $1 million. And it was thrown out, but the judge decided to rap their final remarks.
No way.
Yes.
So I'm going to read this to you. Mr. Bailey complains that his rap is trash, so he's seeking compensation in the form of cash. Bailey thinks he's entitled to some monetary gain because Eminem used his name in vain. The lyrics are stories no one would take as fact. They're an exaggeration of a childish act. It is therefore this court's ultimate position that Eminem is entitled to summary disposition.
I think if you gave that flow, it would have been good. If you really went Eminem on it.
If I went Eminem on it,
Mr. Bailey complains that his rap is trash, so he's seeking compensation in the form of cash bill, you know.
wow, okay. I mean, I actually don't think that performance can outdo poor writing.
See,
Whatever.
See in that, because that was obviously one of his early things. Like, seen the Slim Shady EP, there was a time where he made a rap and referenced Bette Midler.
The Bette Midler factor is 1.
And it's actually, well, I'll get to another thing in a second, but so in this song, he said, "Used to let the babysitter suck my dick when I was littler."
Can you do it with more flow, please, Mark?
Smoke a blunt while I'm titty fucking Bette Midler.
Now that's a dream.
And-
Now
but this
that's
is-
a dream. Fuck your stuck stepmom stuff.
Who was it who fucked Bette Midler?
Mick Jagger
Mick
and,
Jagger
and
fucked
David
Bette
Bowie.
Bowie,
cover.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
But then actually to go back, and maybe this is the difference between old Eminem and new Eminem, because in one of the new Riseable albums, he uses The Rose as a sample in his song called A Rose, a Bette Midler song. So
You've done your Bette Midler factor. It's the first guest to attempt a Bette Midler factor. The
hey,
BMF.
listen, I'm a big fan of the pod.
Big fan of the BMF.
Really is, yeah. And
What about unhinged YouTube comment of the week? Anything for that?
I want to get to that a wee bit later.
You're not in charge of that.
Is that we're going to get to now? That's fine. I'll do it now.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Actually, can we come back to that later?
I have honestly, I do have some stuff I want to say about the album, but I'll get to that now actually, because this brings me on to another wee
He thinks
funny
he's on
thing.
some laugh.
This isn't some
I
laugh.
can never let go of control whenever there's a few mics in front of me. It's not an unhinged YouTube comment, but this is my YouTube comment of the week. Do you want to do the drink? Sorry, I'm still.
Why don't you fucking do the jungle? Stuck step, Jesus.
You cheeky bastard.
No.
Unhinged YouTube comment.
Unhinged YouTube comment of the week.
So I was watching all the music videos from this album. Actually, there's a few, because there's a few hit singles on it.
I couldn't believe how many of these songs I knew already.
Yeah. I mean, it's banging after banger, which is why I went for it, right? But so I was watching Superman, right? Which actually,
I can be your Superman.
that song, by the way, right? In a slight tangent. So when I was in high school, I don't know if you had this experience, Chris, but it's like, so it was PC DJs were a big thing at the time, right? So there'd be a lot of people would make like dance songs on their computer, and they would put so off LimeWire you could get like acapellas and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and all these wee sound effects you could put in like over dance hits, and then people like burn CDs and sell them in fucking high school or whatever, right? So one of the things that was quite popular in a lot of these dance songs was the acapella version of Superman, right? So that was on a lot of them, and then for some reason, two of my mates, right, they'd done this sort of thing, and they must have got hold of a microphone at one point, and so my mate was doing Superman, and they released this song right on a CD, and he goes, he's like, "Bitch, you make me curl," and he thought he said Eminem saying "cuddle" instead of "huddle."
Bitch,
So
you make me cuddle.
But actually, if you realise, because on the song he's saying, "I can be your Superman," and it's at the same time as "huddle," so you can see why I made that mistake. But anyway, I was watching Superman music video, right? But on YouTube, the Superman video is, it's in brackets, clean version, right? So it's obviously just like, no, that way with the doing rap songs, and like he's changed loads of the lyrics and stuff like that, right? But it's just the nature of that song and even the video, right? It's like, he says obviously in it, it's still got stuff like things like, he says like, "Don't put out, I'll put you out, won't get out, I'll push you out." He changes the word bitches to chickens. Says chickens, they
Nice,
come, they
nice.
go, right? And he says stuff like, don't get me wrong, I love these girls instead of hoes, right? And then it's just like, there's a bit of night threatens to fucking stalk the lassie shagging or whatever, right?
This is fuck a stranger in the ass. Find a stranger
Find
in
a
the
stranger
Alps.
in the Alps.
This is what happens when you find a stranger in the Alps.
So yeah, that very much that vibe, right? And then there's a comment under this Superman clean version coming from Coding to Freedom from 6 years ago. He says, good thing there is a clean version of this song. Finally, I can show it to my female friends and talk about the great lyrics with my aunt.
That's a good point, because I've always been looking for a version of Eminem that I can share with my aunt. You know?
Yeah, my aunt's always saying, "Do you
She
know
loves
any
the
new
film
rap
Venom,
songs?"
but it's just like... Venom, gotta get him.
My unhinged YouTube comment. This isn't unhinged. I just found this earlier on. I think it's on a video for Without Me, and oh no, it's on Sing for the Moment. Beg your pardon. This is from Dahlia Hock. Only one day ago. This yesterday they put this in. I broke my leg after hearing this song. I found hope to stand up again. I found motivation in this song, and now every time I hear this song, I get motivated. I love this song. Isn't that nice?
That's nice.
That's nice.
Able
Not really
to-
unhinged.
Able to walk again after listening to Eminem. Slightly unhinged.
I got one from the is it cleaning out the closet, where he's like, have you ever been hated and discriminated against? I have. I've been protested and demonstrated against, picking sides for my wicked rhymes. Look at the time, sick as a mind of the motherfucker kid that's behind. That's how you read a rap.
Right. Okay.
Somebody went,
like a Scottish football manager.
yeah.
Jimmy Levine.
Jim Levine. The Eric Annie said, I sent this song to my girlfriend who had abusive parents. Yes, parents. Both of them. Not one.
Bragging, fucking for Eminem.
Weird flex, but okay.
Eminem would have been fucking, buzzing to have had
Oh
two
wow,
parents.
you've got two parents. Wow. Okay.
Yes, parents, both of them, not one. And after listening to it, she became an Eminem fan. And it even finally snap and leave her house to move in with me. Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
That's unhinged.
Just a bit.
That was from Kim Mathers.
Okay, let's chat about the album. Okay, like you said, it is. There are a number of like singles, bangers on here. All time Eminem. I mean, if you're doing a greatest hits of Eminem, I reckon 4 or 5 of the songs are going on there potentially. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got Cleaning Out My Closet, Without Me. You've got Sing for the Moment. You've got Superman.
Haley's song.
You think Haley's song where he sings?
I think it
I
could
was
be on.
I was gonna say that I think that song brings down the overall score of this album by a significant amount.
I never used to think that this was on the album. I had it on my iPod, and so I was actually pleasantly surprised, because I was like, oh, that's kind of appropriate for this album. But I thought that was like just a single track or something. I didn't think it was on this album, but obviously it is. But I would say, as well as that, like, but
I can't. I'm gonna sing. I can't sing though.
yeah.
And then he sings, and you're like, no, you can't sing.
But he does it in loads of songs. He does that in loads of songs when he sings a hook.
Yeah,
Let's get down to business, because I ain't got a time to hang around with this.
that is potentially on a greatest hits as well. Business, yeah.
Even the ones that aren't on the greatest hits, like see something like Soldier, that is a fucking tune, man. Like, and that's one of the ones. And obviously, Till I Collapse is like a big. That's probably one that would be on the greatest hits, and like just all of them. Sing for the Moment is like, oh sorry, Say Goodbye Hollywood is like just as good as Sing for the Moment for me. Like, it's similar
The deep cuts.
vibe, deep cut, just like pure passionate, talking about his
But
impact
also,
on
like,
people.
I think that his technical ability in a lot of these songs is so good that it actually is that thing where you get this with like Incredible Footballers or whatever, where it is.
Jim Levine.
He was great in his day. 14 caps for Scotland. It's so good and it's so slick that it is actually. It's easy to not realize how good it is, or like
Yeah.
how well crafted it is. Like when you actually look at some of the rhyming schemes in some of these songs, Without Me is a really good example of this. When you actually look at the rhyming schemes, you're like, holy shit, it is incredible that all of these words rhyme with all of these words. That is telling a story, and it's being funny, and he's doing puns, and it's in like a catchy tune.
Absolutely.
Whereas like most people, like especially the way that rap has been looked at by the media in the last like sort of since it's been invented, essentially,
Yeah.
look down on rap as an art form. But then I think there's really good examples of this, of like why people called him like modern Shakespeare or whatever, because it is fucking incredible to actually look at.
Yeah, it's amazing, and like, because it's the rhyme schemes, and he tries to look for the like the rhyming in between, like no, just at the end of the fucking line or whatever. It's within
Internal
it.
rhymes.
And actually, and Without Me, it, like there's a bit and he goes, it's just like
It's just me. I'm just
this
me.
me, and he like points to like the words on the screen, like almost to point out
This is what
what
I'm
you're
doing.
saying now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it took someone as incredible as him, I guess, to break through to this middle America, because this is the big thing that he
Do you
did.
think it's because he was good, or do you think it's because he was white?
What, a mixture of both? A mixture of both.
He gets into it.
Because there was definitely other rappers who you could argue are as good or better, but were black.
Yeah.
But him being white and this good is what made him sort of susceptible to yeah.
He was only a problem in. He was never a problem in Harlem, only in Boston. After they bothered the daughters starting to blossom, is what he says. And
No, I'm not the first king of controversy. I'm the worst thing since Elvis Presley to do black music so selfishly.
and use it to get myself wealthy.
Hey!
There's a concept that works. 20 million other white rappers.
it is weird because like white America basically is him going, people discriminated against me because I was white, but like also like I suppose his whole point is like he was all like there was sort of like Dr. Dre people didn't want him to sign Eminem cause he's white and stuff like that. And I think the whole point is like, look, I'm just good enough that the whole thing is like it doesn't matter who you are or what your background is, even if it is a place of white privilege. Basically,
I think
if you're good enough, you're good enough.
But I also, it's interesting you mentioned white privilege there, because like Eminem,
It's no privilege. He's not privileged.
well, but that's
you know,
it. I mean, I think that's the important thing about that like phrase and discussion is that he grew up poor. He was like one of three families on his three white families on his street. He was bullied for being white, and so then he makes something of himself in something that's like traditionally like black music, and then is told, well, you can't do it because you're white. It's like, well, I can't fucking win, so I have to be the literal best for people to take me seriously.
Absolutely. And it's no, I mean it's fucking brilliant. Like the whole album, like there's so many great songs, and I think there's such a clarity to the writing and what he's saying that's like just it's rare, like how clear his points are, and you can actually follow along what he's saying. Like, because again, that's probably a criticism of his later stuff, is that he's doing it so fast or intricate or whatever that you don't really know what the song's about, but sometimes you can really follow what the story is here, which even a lot of just songs in general, like, you know, if they're about something like fucking there's a golden brown, it's about heroin or whatever, but unless somebody fucking tells you that at a party at 3 a.m, you might not know that, but you can actually go, oh, this guy's talking about his mom fucking saying he had Munchausen syndrome or whatever the fuck that thing's called.
Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah.
I can't believe you went for Golden Brown by the Stranglers as just your go-to reference of a song.
I've only listened to about 3 non-rap songs in my life.
Golden brown, texture like sun.
Aye. But no, you know, it's just well.
That is a very good example. I mean, even talking about the whole thing, he says, let's do the math. If I was black, I would have sold half. I didn't have to graduate from Lincoln High School to know that.
Well, there you go.
He accepts it. I cannot believe the Mariah Carey shit you guys put me through.
What? No, I mean, she's white presenting, isn't she? So,
Not to me.
well okay.
Obviously not, if I assumed. You know?
Yeah, but
Disastrous chat.
I can't believe you'd bring it back in when we were in such a good place in the episodes, and you're like, do you know what? I haven't shat my pants on air for a while.
What did you think of the album, Chris?
Well, you know, I was looking at this list going, I
Mark
guess
is so good at getting us back on track, isn't he?
he's great. He doesn't have any mental health problems. And
Not publicly.
Probably first person at the podcast to be mentally healthy, which is interesting. There was just so many it's just the soundtrack to being a wee guy for me. And you were actually attacked by a previous guest, someone who is mentally healthy but not bodily healthy due to his race line.
But you can't be mentally healthy or unhealthy if you don't have a fucking brain and start doing it.
Are we starting a beef? We're starting a hip hop beef.
Well, Steve was saying, like, but then subsequently Steve has said to me that he thought I was talking about Encore.
Let's just put some context in here for people who are maybe new to the podcast. We had Stephen Buchanan, aka Stippy Boo Poo,
aka Steaming Puke Shagging,
aka Disney Blanket himself. He was on the podcast. We asked him what he wanted to talk about. Doesn't matter how we came to the decision or what album we were talking about that time, right? But we were doing Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick.
And he said, "Oh, what's Mark doing on air? Not like behind that wee curtain."
I heard it.
You heard that. You're big. He knew you would hear it as well, which to me was
He was calling you out.
he was calling you.
He was calling you out. It was a diss track.
And he said, "What's Mark doing?" We said Eminem Show by Eminem, and he went, "Such a wee guy choice." Now, he is a wee guy.
Yeah.
You're not.
So maybe it was a compliment.
But this is so typical of Steve. He then subsequently said to me, but when I was having that conversation in my mind, I thought I was thinking of Encore.
But do you think a wee guy would choose Encore?
No, he was just wrong.
Yeah.
And he was like, actually, EMINEM Show is my favourite as well.
Beef resolved. Is that easy?
That's
Hip hop
it.
community.
Come on, you just need to do a podcast.
Just need to sit down around a table and hash it out.
Yeah, just need to tell Eminem and Ja Rule that.
Yeah, yeah.
Stop taking methadone and dying in a bath, you freaks.
Our beef with Mariah Carey is ongoing.
Not for me.
Sounds like it.
You're racially denying her.
I've been accused of racially denying someone before. I quite like
Get
it.
used to it.
What
You're
did
going
you
to act
think?
like that.
What do you think of cleaning out my closet?
I'm cleaning out my closet. One more time. I said, I'm sorry, mama. It was so, like, in my head, that's just the soundtrack to being 9.
Yeah.
But listening to it, I'm like, fuck, man. You know, people don't do that all the time. You don't always get a song that goes to number 2 in the pop charts in America where he's just going, you know, you're not going to be invited to my daughter's birthday, mum, because you're a fucking whore and I hate you and my
Yeah.
dad's this and that. You know?
I hardly know anyone that's done that.
It's just one.
Just one guy.
You know?
It's sad in a way because like he has subsequently released a track on one of his New Year Shiter albums and he kind of says sorry for it and like he talks about how he cringes when it comes on and all that sort of stuff.
You should take it off his playlist.
I guess
know it's on
that's
shuffle
the
probably,
sort of
but-
double-edged sword of releasing a diss track, right? Because I think about my previous beefs with people and the arguments I've had that I now look back on and I go, oh, what the fuck was that was so small time that I cared about that drama at the time.
That's
and I
interesting.
imagine if the previous beefs I've had with people were number one selling records, then yeah, they'd be played and be like, oh God, I can't believe I cared that much about that back then. And now it's still being played and it's like, it's been over and dealt with. Do you know what I mean?
For me, it's never forgive, never forget.
Although obviously, if it was your mom and she'd raised you in that way and done all that. Like,
Can you really call it a diss track if it's
No.
you know it goes beyond dissing someone, you know?
No, but he's revealing stuff about his life, and that's, I suppose, what people think is so good about this album because he's been more introspective. And he's
Vulnerable.
like, yeah, because the first two he's taking all these shots at like, you know, obviously just things in society and celebrities and whatever, and then this one it's like, and which this is something I didn't really realise about the album until I listened to it, but that's the whole concept. Obviously, is like my life has become this show, and I'm just going to tell you about all my controversies and struggles, and so that's the first time he revealed like a bit more about what his upbringing was like with his mom and stuff like that. And
Because it's the EMINEM Show is a play on the Truman Show, right? That's
what he said.
yeah.
On Instagram, it was like the anniversary or something. He said, he's like basically Jim Carrey wrote this album, which I don't think it's true. He's not credited anyway, but
Do you like Eminem as a guy?
yeah, I think he would. I feel sorry for him now because like you can clearly see this guy. It's an inspirational story. It's so, like, and see watching 8 Mile. It's so inspirational. And some of these tracks where he's basically talking about his story, it's so inspirational because you're like, this guy came for fuck all. And I read a really cool thing, and it was like his boss. I think it was in that Little Caesars place. Said that when he had the Wayne, he was like a model staff member because he would do like 60 hours a week and all that, and he just worked like fuck. But then he gets sacked, you know, like a couple months later. But the whole thing's about hard work. And then in 8 Mile, actually, there's a bit in he's like, it's like when Brittany Murphy's like, oh, like what you doing now? And he's like, I need to work on my raps for the hanging in. The end of 8 Mile is like him going, he wins the rap battle and then goes back to work in the factory. And the whole thing's about hard work, and the cunt just works like fuck.
What do you think Noam Chomsky would think about that though?
What, working? Well, Noam Chomsky has once said that you should pursue the things in work that you would do, that you love anyway, you do without getting paid. So I think Eminem is a good example of that.
Mark is the only person who you could flip a Noam Chomsky question like that on the pod who would be able to give it an actual decent answer. So congratulations,
And
Mark.
actually, I think Noam Chomsky would agree with some of his anti-war tracks. You know, it says, you know, he's quite hanging about Bush and all that, you know.
I quite like him as well, especially in that, like, I mean, he's also sober and has spoken. He speaks about that publicly, about going to rehab, and you know, I think he's a much more palatable public figure post being a pillhead. I remember seeing an interview with him on Jonathan Ross,
Yeah.
where he spoke quite openly about it, and I think he's quite a chill.
Was he?
Old Wassy.
I wish you'd meet. Maybe he's probably got partners, not, but like because he still lives in
Mariah
Detroit.
Carey, famously.
Yeah, he still lives in Detroit, and I just hope he's happy. Because it's
I think he's probably all right.
I love, at the moment, I kind of fell in love with him as an adult after having idolised him as a Freddy or Jason type figure. Like just an insane Marilyn Manson horror guy, But when he was in the film Funny People with Adam Sandler, and Adam Sandler survives cancer and he's in a restaurant and Eminem sits down with him, there's a really funny scene where he's like, you just should have died because now you need to keep being alive. And like, there's no point. Like you had the perfect out and now you're fine. You shouldn't have took the medicine. And then he sees Ray Romano, who's like, I can't believe Eminem's talking to Adam Sandler. And Ray Romano's like that. And Eminem's like, who the fuck's that over there? And Adam Sandler says, it's Ray Romano. Everybody else Ray. And he's like, Ray fucking who? And he just like squares up to Ray Romano across a restaurant. And it's just one of the funny. I love that film. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Right, we should crack on with some important features.
We take a look at the album art, we decide if it is good or what.
So it's the Eminem Show album, and there is Eminem sat down behind a large curtain in front of a microphone. Obviously, a sort of big, grand, old music hall style theatre stage. Eminem is looking, he's contemplating, he's looking, this idea, life is a performance, I guess, and he has to go out and perform.
It's behind the curtain, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the whole point. Is that the album art is like, I'm showing you behind the curtain of my life, and this is the stage, and he's sitting behind it.
It's pretty iconic. And is there the previous album covers are sort of similar? Are they? Or
no, it's Encore, which I've actually have me because I used to own it. It's similar like that, and then he does Curtain Call, which is like a great splits that. But that's the first one where he's done it like that.
But it's quite cool having a sort of image motif like that across a few albums. Like that's an interesting,
He's a song and dance man. He's a song and dance man.
If you look at the back of this as well, I'll show you the cameras as this, because the front of this is like him standing like that, and then if you look at in the inside cover,
he's got a gun behind his back.
He's bowing to the audience with a gun. But I actually saw Mark do that at the King's Theatre the other week. But instead of a gun, it was a bottle of Iron Brew.
Imagine you had shot up the audience that night for just no reason.
What?
That would be crazy.
What a weird thing to say at the end of the
podcast. That's the whole idea of this.
Yeah, but did you say imagine if Mark did that?
Yeah.
Imagine if Mark...
Imagine the conversations you'd have to have in your life.
Mark performed a mass shooting. Is that the conversation?
At his first King show.
Turns out he did have some mental health issues after that.
I'm not saying, that would be good. I'm just saying it would be interesting.
He ran out of material halfway through. So
it's a big closer, agree,
yeah.
A reverse Bataclan.
Did we get that on camera?
Anyway, this is from a Reddit thread called Respect to the Backline. This is from a Reddit thread called Taking. It's like a Reddit group, a Reddit. What's it called? Subreddit called Taking the Words Off of a Album Cover. So it's nice without it. Yeah, I just thought it looked nice.
So this is just the image without the Eminem in the Eminem style.
I just thought it would look a bit.
Yeah, without the parental advisory sticker.
I love the parental advisory sticker.
Yeah, no parents allowed. So yeah, I mean, look, it's a good album cover. Should we do the next?
As a comedian, SM58 up there with a kind of tripod.
That looks stand. Like see that bit though, like see if you zoom in the bit where the mic is, that's like if you Google like stand up comedy on Google Images, like that's the like generic sort of.
Yeah, that's the PNG of microphone.
Yeah. You could genuinely
you can actually see Getty Images written across the side of it.
You could genuinely cut Marshall Matters out and just use this as a poster for a new stand-up night.
I would do this as a see if I ever called a show the Jenko Show.
The Jenko Show.
Jenko Unchained.
Jenko Unchained, which was a thing that I did think of calling it once. I've got to see before we move on to anything else. I do have an Eminem story for my youth, and it was around about 8 Mile because it was Lose Yourself, which was obviously won an Oscar.
Yes, one of the biggest rap songs of all time.
Absolutely.
Lose Yourself.
Brilliant, and it again encapsulates the whole inspirational thing of Eminem. But I remember, so when I was a wee guy hanging about the streets and all that, there was a couple of older boys that lived across the road from my mate, and I'd been like I just had probably when I first got an iPod or something, and I was like listening to Eminem a lot. And then I must have said to one of my mates, like, I know all the lyrics to this. So one of the older boys then was like, right, do the whole song. And I had to stand and try and do Lose Yourself
on
the street. I can't even do it. I don't remember.
Do the whole song.
But it was terrible
Come
even
on.
then. I'm not doing it because it'd be shite. I can't even remember it.
yourself in the moment. You want it, you'll never go. You only would go to
Arms are heavy, knees weak, arms are heavy. I've said that. I was already fucked up.
Mama's spaghetti. Arms are heavy.
Yeah.
My name's Eminem, and I'm here to say.
So that judge.
Spaghetti on my better anyway.
Right, let's do some quick tats.
Quite. We're two guys reviewing tattoos. We're gonna Google image searching and we choose if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boohoo. We're judging the ink, yeah, that's what we do. Do full sleeve or face tats, big skull or wing badge. You pick the design. Is it bad or just fine? A dragon or a skull, pretentious or dull? You cannot hide, and we will decide if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boo-hoo. Yeah.
Eminem does not have tattoos. So the first tattoo we have... Oh, so this is interesting because in the song Superman, he references having a tattoo that says rot in pieces and a girl sort of saying, okay.
No, she goes, oh, that's great.
Yeah, sort of like she's not actually that impressed by it. I didn't know that was a real tattoo.
No,
so-
no. It's Haley Jade. I love that name. Rotten Pieces. Oh, that's great. So she's like basically going, she's just saying whatever she wants to win him over.
Right.
But
And it
that's a
says
real
Kim on the gravestone, doesn't it?
So hang on, let's just
fucking hell.
describe this properly for the audio listeners. So it has the word rot in pieces on his tummy, and then there is a picture of a gravestone that says the word Kim on it, which is pretty fucked up, isn't it?
It's always
I
a
didn't know that was it.
red flag if you're sucking a guy's dick and then you look up at his in between his belly button and his pubes and there's a gravestone of his partner.
Of the mother of his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a red flag for me. Why am I doing it?
They subsequently got remarried, by the way.
They got remarried
Sure.
and divorced again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So married and divorced twice.
And it's hard, like, what could you even, like if you had to try and adjust the tattoo, like, if you could put, like, Kimbo Slice, the UFC fighter or something, like, Kim Jong-un, gravestone.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un.
It's funny you mentioned that because I did see a tweet the other day. It was like for the time, and it was like obviously after Kanye get divorced, and it says Eminem is now officially not the worst reaction to splitting up with Kim. At least he never was anti-Semitic.
So-
What are you giving this? Like a gravestone with your
that's a-
ex-wife's name
that's a
on it, rotten
boho.
pieces.
That's too-
I'm giving it a woohoo. I think it's very gothic, very
Too
class.
fucked up. For an alive person,
Oh, she would
it's-
be dead one day.
What's that? You know that
Well,
meme
well.
of like, my nemesis died today, but I went to his funeral just to be sure that he's dead. It's that similar. Do you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
funny, but from a distance. But that's a boohoo. Rot in pieces about the mother of your child who's still alive. That's
She
fucked
seemed
up.
like a negative influence on the life of him and also his
Well, here's the
baby.
thing.
I
It
feel a
seems-
bit bad for her now.
Here's the thing, right? If there's this thing where it's like, if you meet one arsehole, right,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, someone's like, "How's your day?" You're like, "Oh, I met an arsehole today."
Uh-huh.
Then you've met an arsehole. If you meet 10 arseholes and someone asks you how your day is, and you go,
It's
I met
terrible. I met 10
I met
arseholes.
10 arseholes. Then you know what? Maybe you're the arsehole.
Is this based
okay?
on how he didn't like Ray Romano in that film? That was a film.
Yes. So who's he had beef with? Ray Romano,
His mum.
Kim, and his mum. To me, I'm starting to think maybe he's the arsehole in all these situations. I mean, he's got that horrible tattoo.
If it was a whole graveyard of gravestones with different people's names on them, I'd say
Well,
that was a bad.
Let's see the further tattoos.
Let's see
For
the
me,
other
that's
tattoos.
a boohoo.
This is a woohoo from me, Mark. What are you giving it? Woohoo,
I think
boohoo.
overall we need to say boohoo.
Yes.
Although it's nicely done.
It's nice.
Again, it's kind of like the album. It's like the lyrics terrible, but the style of it good.
Okay.
Okay, let's have another one. Okay, on the arm. What are you laughing at?
Another thing.
What are you laughing at, Phil?
I just remembered another joke. Is all.
A joke about what?
Just another joke about a different thing.
Mariah Carey?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Okay, so you on his left arm here, you have a portrait of, I'm assuming, his daughter.
Yeah.
Above the words Bonnie and Clyde, and then a car.
I'd imagine it's a Ford car.
That portrait of his daughter is genuinely awful. It is
it's
one of
horrifying.
those scary
Don't like
sketch
it.
tattoos that looks really bad.
The thing is, the closer you get to what somebody looks like photorealistically, you tread into the uncanny valley, where if it was more cartoonized, it would be fine, but because it's so close to being human, but then it kind of just looks like, Vern Troyer as Mini-Me, and in the Austin
It
Powers
looks
franchise.
like you know when you go to the amusements and those
The caricatures.
yeah or no, you know when you go to like a theme park and it's like on the side of the Terminator they've spray painted like pictures of like current Hollywood celebrities. That's what it looks like, that style.
Yeah.
Bonnie and Clyde.
That's from in the Slim Shady LP. Is a song "Oh Free Bonnie and Clyde" about me and my daughter. It says.
It's weird to refer to yourself and your daughter as Bonnie and Clyde. It's a bit stuck stepmom, to be honest with you, because you know, Bonnie and
Freudian,
Clyde were Bonnie and Clyde fucked each other and done loads of crimes together.
Yeah. So
I think it's maybe just like partners in crime because
Sure.
they also escaped from the mum and all this stuff.
But they were partners in crime because they were having sex while they were doing crimes.
Right, okay. Well, you know, you can read into it what you want. I suppose. The thing
that's a boohoo from me.
Yeah, the thing that strikes me about this one, like with the picture of it, there's a UFC fighter called Darren Till, and he's got a picture, like a not dissimilar image of his girlfriend on his arm, but
Ooh.
in the tattoo, his girlfriend just looks like Hillary Clinton. So it just looks like he's got a Hillary Clinton tattoo in his arm.
Rodham 2026. Right, so.
That's a boohoo from me, Chris.
I think the line work on the car is nice. I'm going to give it a woohoo.
You're at it. You are at it. There's no way you think that's a good tattoo.
I think,
If
you know,
someone fucking walked in here and it wasn't Eminem and then you saw that tattoo, you'd be like, that is a dog shit tattoo.
Have you seen a guy in the pub with that tattoo?
Exactly. Be honest. That is fucking dog shit. Come on. I'm not having this. You're at it. You say stuff just to wind me up, and this is a perfect example of that. You're fucking at it. Look at it. If you're an audio listener, then log onto the YouTube and find this point. So you can look at this fucking dog shit tattoo and tell me you believe that Chris thinks this is good.
context is king. All right.
But there's no context that gives this that makes this good. Come on.
I think
You're at it.
The thing about you don't realise about Detroit is
No. Shut the fuck up. Next tattoo. Shut the
Alright.
fuck up.
to me it's Motown.
It's a boohoo from me.
You think that's a reference to Motown?
It is the Motor City.
Of course, right? It's a car. He's from right there, but do you think that's a reference to the fucking to Motown music?
No,
Aye.
the car's about them driving away together on his body and Clyde.
Yeah.
It's a boohoo. Next,
Okay.
what we got here?
This is about Ronnie, his Uncle Ronnie that died.
This is about his Uncle Ronnie. I hope you said that Ronnie would die. When that song.
Yeah.
And is to
It looks like the ghost pirate LeChuck.
well, here's what I think it is.
Skyscraper in the background. I don't know.
A skyscraper in the background with the eye floating above like a kind of noir figure.
The
But
Illuminati.
in tribute to his Uncle Ronnie, he's got a haunted mushroom man.
Now this is good.
The stalk of the mushroom is a skull. It's a mushroom skeleton man,
Right.
which I wouldn't, if they'd done Elden Ring 2 and that was an enemy, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, there's big. There's
It
it
says
looks
Slim
like,
Shady below it as well.
it looks
Yeah.
like one of the bad guys from Hollow Knight. Those little fat mushrooms that walk around and go. "Wah, wah, wah, wah."
Shout out for any Hollow Knight fans out there.
Yes. So just to be absolutely clear to our audio listeners, what we have here is a sort of ghost haunted mushroom in front of a skyscraper with an eyeball floating above it. Above the words Slim Shady, above the words Ronnie. It's a woohoo from me.
So woohoo for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely one of
It's
the coolest
just-
things I've ever
It's
seen.
just so fucking mental that
Yeah.
I like it.
My uncle's dead. How should I show my respect? Well, my mum always said that I should have died instead of him. So how about a haunted mushroom
I
skeleton
feel
man?
like that
Uncle
Ronnie
Fungus is
underneath.
here.
I feel like the Ronnie might have been added subsequently after he got that tattoo. Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, it does look fresher, but it's an old picture.
Okay, next one. How many have we
This
got
is the
here?
last one. This is the last one. This is for another episode.
Okay, right. Okay.
We do. He does have one that he got of his pal Proof that died as well. It just says Proof. Not the greatest tattoo, but I don't think you can get a boohoo just given the context.
I mean,
Watch me. Boohoo.
3 woohoos for me. I love tattoos.
So any final points you want to make about this album, Christopher?
You know how much I love Detroit.
You're a big Motown
I'm a
man.
Motown man. And, I always thought it was strange that Dream On was sampled. But it's just one of those big crossover hip hop songs that kind of gets the white boys rocking and the
Well, I
black
mean,
boys.
I
having a
was
good
talking
time.
before. My older brother was a big fan of Aerosmith, so hearing that they'd sampled Aerosmith was exciting for the both of us.
Steven Tyler was recently he performed live with Eminem when he accepted his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction.
Also recently outed as some kind of pederast or a phoebophile.
Right, I don't know what either of those words mean.
Right, okay. It's basically calling somebody a pedo, but you kind of get sued for it.
Right, okay. So you're saying that
Steven
Tyler's
Tyler.
a pedo?
However, he wasn't in the 70s when the song was released. And
Dream on, Just thought I'd sing over you, stop you talking. So this is, I mean, this was a return to. I mean, I've not listened to this album probably for about fucking 20 years or something. It's crazy. No, it came out in 2006, so not as long. 2002, 20 years. I reckon probably about 15 years since I last listened to this album. Yeah. It was remarkable how much of it I remembered all of the words to, the earworms, and yeah, just to say again, how actually impressive the technical ability on this album is throughout. It's funny, the hooks are great. There's about 5 or 6 genuine bangers on there, and often I'm like, I'm like with filler. I'm like, this is filler. There's not really any filler. The skits.
Dude, 5 skits, but 2 of them are just curtains going up and down, and the other 3 are actually quite funny.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Ken Kniff is funny at the end.
No. No. But
that has not aged well. That's comedic.
Well, there's a lot of effing and jeffing on the record that hasn't aged well, but you have to look at it in the context of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Middle Fingers, Jerry Springer, South Park. It was a different time.
What I thought was interesting, because a lot of the songs are about basically feminists or people from the LGBT community protesting them, and it felt at the time to most of the people that he was in the right and that they were wrong for protesting them, which in retrospect is obviously not the case. But it's interesting that just at that time in culture, people were on his side, even though obviously.
Yeah, he has. I mean, he has since. I mean, he came out in favour of gay marriage and stuff like that.
He put out a post when Roe versus Wade got overturned and said that he was.
Yeah, which is more than a lot of other, public prominent musicians, especially ones with the fan base that he has. So he has spoken out. I mean, I think there probably is a bit too liberal use of the F word that he still stands by and says.
I don't like that swearing.
Yeah. Do you know though? He put a song out where he called Tyler the Creator a cigarette, and then he found out that he was actually gay, and he went, I take it back. You're only allowed to call people that if they're not.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah, I mean, the whole politics of that isn't quite right. But then again, you're expecting someone. I mean,
let's get Noam Chomsky back on here. Politics.
Well, we fucking could, okay? You're expecting someone to come from poverty to speak with the same sort of language and eloquence of people who are from middle class backgrounds. If you want people to have those worldviews that you do, then what you actually need to do is make sure that there's enough education everywhere, and that's a fucking human right.
And actually, there was a thing that I sent you this video because a big thing that happened around that time was he performed Stan at the fucking MTV Awards or something with Elton John. And that was a big thing for Elton to do because people were annoyed with him for doing that. But people said it was a good moment because then they hold hands at the end, and it's kind of alright, he said this fucking homophobic stuff, but Elton John's this big.
He's one of their very good friends, and I know that Elton John spoke him through his rehab period as well, and almost as if a sort of a de facto sponsor. So yeah, it's complicated that, but I do think just stop saying it, man. Come on,
imagine Elton John phoning you up in rehab, and you're wait, are you not pals with Princess Diana? You can.
Am I fucking tripping, man? Yeah. I'm back on the drugs, man. Elton John's phoning me up.
And Elton John is a scat man.
Have you never heard him singing I'm Still Standing during the pandemic?
Oh yeah,
that video.
That was more recently than this.
But the Oscar Capaldi documentary, there's a bit in it and he gets an email from Elton John, very supportive, and he's like, fucking get a grip. No, that, but he's like you're brilliant and all this sort of stuff, and then it's just quite funny. He reads it.
We're going to do Metallica soon, hopefully, and
we should do Elton John as well.
Yeah, but James Hetfield said that Elton John phoned him up and said Nothing Else Matters is one of the most beautiful songs I've heard, and he compared it to Green Sleeves.
Wow.
Elton John compared.
Which is actually my least favourite jingle used to.
Yeah. That's surprising.
I've got a few. Can I just make a few final points on the album, actually?
Well, sure. Way over, but yes.
I know that's. I just want to get these out. First of all, this is a random thing that I've always just noticed when I've looked at the track list, and see if you look at the first 4 proper songs on it, it basically is ABCD in a way, because it's white America, business, clean out the closet, square dance. I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
This is like one of these Tupac acronyms he always does, where he's
I don't know if that is purpose. I just thought it was always weird that, but
rappers love really tiresome wordplay.
Yeah, I thought it didn't strike me at the time, because obviously I was just listening to this as a wee guy growing up, and I didn't realise how introspective this was and how much a contrast that was from the previous album. Certainly, as one of the reviews said, that it was he was examining the hall of mirrors that he'd built for himself, and I thought that's a very nice kind of thing. But overall,
very similar to Detroit native and fellow Detroitians, Insane Clown Posse, who also had a song called Hall of Mirrors.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They also had a beef, which you don't have
Yeah,
time
the
to go
beef.
into.
We don't have
Yeah.
time.
Right.
But the main thing just to say before, that's the last thing I've got to say, and then that's it. But I
Good
just
guest.
love,
Good guest.
I love that bit in Sing for the Moment, and I think there's a few songs where he really sums up this, like his impact on other people and what it was, and it's like you look back now and you go, a lot of it's problematic, this and that and the other, but like seeing that bit in Sing for the Moment, he says, you sing for anyone who's ever been through sharing their lives, where they sit and they cry at night, wishing to die until they've thrown a rap record and they sit and they vibe, well, nothing to you, but we're the fucking shit in their eyes. And I actually think that's a really nice message to think, like, whenever, you know, if we're doing comedy or whatever, and like, or even podcasts and stuff that can get you through hard times in your life, if you're putting stuff out there that gives people that experience, if they're going through a shite time, then you're doing something important in the world. And I think overall, Eminem, that's what he done with records like this, and it's a good thing to do. And so I think overall, you've got to be like, aye.
It's the only point of doing anything.
Absolutely.
What a wonderful way to wrap things up.
Did you enjoy an album?
I loved it.
Did you enjoy an album?
Yeah, I did, yes.
I enjoyed an album as well. I don't
Right.
care how many times he effed and jeffed.
I want to say a big thank you to Marc Jennings for coming down, keeping the pod on track, giving us the most professional episode that we've had in a long time. Very few mentions have come in this episode, actually.
There was a bit.
You mentioned about 2 minutes in when you were talking about the woman fucking wiping her face.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that
that's
music
true.
video.
That's true.
What?
Yeah.
Why
yeah.
would that happen?
No, at the very start.
Me?
No, me.
Oh.
Mark, you can get Marc Jennings on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook. What's the best place?
Yeah, at Marc Jenko on most stuff, and follow the Some Laugh podcast.
Really good podcast, Some Laugh.
Yes,
And-
with 3 previous guests now. I've had the whole Some Laugh crew on the Enjoying album. Stuart McPherson, Steve Buchanan, and Marc Jennings. Wonderful pod. I'm sure.
And if you liked Christopher, Mario, or whoever, they were all.
They've
Yeah,
all been
and
on
both,
that
both
as
of you
well.
guys have obviously been on.
Oh,
Both
yeah.
very funny episodes.
If you know this, you probably know that already. But if you don't, go check out the Some Laugh podcast. It's one of the best podcasts in Scotland right now.
Also, I'm back at the Fringe this year. Please buy tickets.
Yes.
I'll be at Monkey
What's the show called?
Away from here.
Away from here.
It's 5:50 every night at the Tron.
5:50. So you could also make my show.
You're right after it in the same room.
Great.
Or you could have a little break and then
Fuck
come and
that,
see
man.
my show.
Fuck that. No, go see Libby's good.
Go. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week for more Enjoying album fun times. Big shout out, Marc Jennings. Thank you, Christopher, and thank you, Liam Withnail. Have a great week. Bye.
Goodbye.
Cheers, guys.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Peace and love and unity.